Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 12th and final session of the series Teaching Online. It's about teaching, not technology. My name is José Manuel Villafuerte, and I'll be with you today as a moderator, along with your host, Regional English Language Officer, Dr. Ruth Betzold. Together, we will try to answer your questions and respond to your comments during the session. Today, our host, Ruth Betzold, will be talking to our lead presenter, Wendy Colson, who will take the five of us in discussing watch parties and using U.S. Department of State resources for professional development. Over to you, Ruth.
Thank you, Jose Manuel. Welcome, everyone. We're very happy to have you join us for this series of webinars. It was created with Mexico in mind, but we think it's been very helpful for those of you joining us from other countries. It was designed to help us get through the pandemic, but maybe it's also been useful for the future if we've discovered we like teaching online. To stay in touch with us after this series, please do like us on Facebook. Next slide, please. Thank you. Today is the final session of our series. Please look back over the topics Sorry, I think my connection cut out. So today is the final session of our series. Please look back over the topics we've covered. We'd love to know whether this series has helped you adjust to teaching virtually. Tell us the name of an app, a tool, or an activity that you've used and liked. Please let us know in the comments. Today, all five of us will be presenting. I will still make sure that we address any questions you might have, so do continue to put them in the comment section. And of course, as always, feel free to share your reactions there or by using the Facebook emojis. And now for today's session. It will be on using U.S. Department of State resources and Facebook watch parties for professional development. As always, we'd like to start with a warm-up question. Where do you find resources for professional development online? In today's session, we'll be learning about Relo Mexico resources, looking at free American English resources, and getting new ideas for Facebook watch parties. I am now pleased to welcome all of our presenters today. You remember Cindy Spoon, who led us through working with Google Apps and differentiation. Wendy Colson, who talked about using smartphones and teaching young learners. Heather Gaddis, who talked about learning management systems, teaching university level, and assessment. Then Manuel Villafuerte, whom you know better as our moderator, and me, whom you know as your host. We're happy to have you all back with us. Wendy, it's over to you to start us off.
Great, thank you so much, Ruth. So the goal for this last session is to enhance your online professional development with free resources from Relo, Mexico, and the U.S. Department of State. And before we go on, let's all start a live watch party now. So I thought it would be a great idea to do a live webinar about watch parties while we all start a watch party. So click share below this presentation, and under share, you will see more options and a little arrow. So click on that, and then at the bottom of the options, choose the last option. Click on start a watch party. You can write a message and post, or simply post, and voila. So give us a thumbs up if you were able to do it. Great. So we will share ideas later on during this session for planned or scheduled watch parties for professional development. So on the next slide, you'll see our agenda for today. You will get tons of resources for planned online and face-to-face professional development that you can use during a Facebook watch party. As you can see, I've asked Ruth and Jose Manuel from Relo, Mexico, and our specialists, Cindy and Heather, to join us today to talk about their favorite resources and how they have used them for professional development. So Ruth will talk about Relo Mexico programs and resources. Then Cindy, Jose, Manuel, Heather, and I will show you our favorite free resources from AmericanEnglishStategov and from American English on Facebook. And then I'll present some ideas of how you could use all these resources for scheduled online professional development, such as during a Facebook watch party. So let's look at some of your challenges that this session will address. So as looking at this first challenge, I think that you will find some of the resources that we will present to you today will help you transform your professional development, as they are already ready for your use now virtually. So let's look at number 2. You will find many creative ideas using these resources. And about your students' abilities. With the vast amount of webinars, courses, and other resources, you will be able to cater to the various abilities of your students. And this fourth one, in addition to these webinars in this 12-part series on how to teach online, you will find ways, many ways to connect to your students. So it's on to you, Ruth.
So the U.S. Embassy in Mexico has an office devoted to English teachers and learners. It's us, the Regional English Language Office. You'll find the Rilo section of the website under the Education and Culture tab. On the right side of the screen, you'll see our contact information, and below that, the additional resources box with links to information on the website of the Department of State's Office of English Language Programs. You'll hear more about those resources later in the webinar. Further down the page are the links to the Rilo's programs and resources. While they are the same as those on the Department of State's website, the information on Relo Mexico also includes local details. If you click on the link to Relo programs, you'll arrive at this screen where we have a brief description of each of our programs. The Access program provides English language classes to talented teenagers in public schools from disadvantaged sectors of society. These scholarships are available in selected communities to students who best meet the selection criteria. The American English Live Teacher Development Series offers 3 series of 6 webinars every year. Each webinar lasts for an hour and is broadcast live every other week on the American English for Educators Facebook page. The sessions feature American instructors sharing interactive, student-centered approaches to language teaching. The AE e-teacher program now known as Open, is a competitive scholarship that allows teachers to take a 10-week master's level online course in a TESOL-related field. All courses are developed by and delivered by American universities via distance learning. Each year, Rilo Mexico sends selected teachers on exchange programs to the International TESOL Convention, on the Fulbright Foreign Language Teaching Assistant Program, and to the study of the US institutes. Watch the Rilo Mexico Facebook page, the embassy's website, and the embassy's Facebook page for announcements about these and other US-bound exchange programs. The English Language Specialist Program brings US professionals in the field of TESOL for 2 weeks up to 4 months, physically or virtually, as you have in front of you today, to work on projects like teacher training, curriculum development, or program evaluation. The English Language Fellow Program brings qualified US citizens with a graduate degree in the field of TESOL to work on a specific project for universities for 10 months. This program has become virtual during the pandemic. So now I see we've moved on to Relo Resources. This is the other link, and here you'll see description of free materials for you and your learners. Of course, free English courses are always popular. Voice of America offers online video-based lessons at all levels, as well as other resources to practice English. We also offer free massive open online courses known as MOOCs on different topics. And Heather will talk more about that later. Rilo Mexico on Facebook. We know you know about this resource because you're watching us on Rilo Mexico Facebook page now. American English has a great website and YouTube channel that you'll learn more about later in the webinar from several of our presenters. Do you know about Forum Magazine? I certainly hope so. It allows you to learn what teachers of English around the world are doing in their classrooms and gives you a place to publish what you are doing. And Wendy will tell you more.
I will.
And once we're on,
Oh,
and once we're beyond the pandemic, the Benjamin Franklin Library in Mexico City will reopen. And if you or your students are in the capital, please come by to practice your English in a conversation club, watch American movies, participate in game night, and get a library card for free. Now, of course, they too are doing virtual programs, and you can check out the calendar of events on the embassy's website. You can learn more about all of these programs and resources on the Rilo website, so be sure to drop by. Back over to you, Wendy.
okay, sorry. Thanks, Ruth. I was so excited to tell you about the AmericanEnglish.state.gov that I interrupted you. So here it is. Thank you for that overview, Ruth. This is the U.S. Department of State's website, AmericanEnglish.state.gov. It has a ton of free resources, as Ruth mentioned, and is a go-to spot for inspiration and professional development ideas. So let's explore this valuable resource with a treasure hunt. Okay, I want you to look at this image on the screen and answer the following questions in the chat. So number 1, can you read this website in other languages? Answer. Okay, next question, gotta be quick. Number 2, how many main tabs are there? All right. Number 3, what does the middle tab say? Because that's what we're looking at in this session. Number 4, what is one resource you expect to find under the tab resources? Okay, are you quick? Let's go on to the next slide. And if you click on resources, that middle tab, I'm sure you got that one right. Number 5, so Cindy will talk to you about how she uses board games for professional development. Where do you expect to find these on the drop-down menu? Okay, great. Number 6, Jose Manuel will tell us about how to use songs in our online teaching and professional development. What should you click on in the menu? Got it? Number 7, Heather will tell us about how you can improve your English for specific purposes. Where will you find these courses? And finally, number 8, I will tell you about some high-quality professional development webinars. Which 2 categories can you click on to find them? Okay, I think you got it. Now let's look at where do you think you would find the monster book? So yes, you would click on resources, then other resources, and then creative ideas. Wonderful. So the monster book is a collection of over 150 activities intended to liven up your language classroom and to engage students in learning and to give you as instructors straightforward active options for practicing the 4 skills and tapping into other elements of language such as grammar, vocabulary, critical thinking, and culture. Sounds like a great professional development opportunity, doesn't it? So your study group or community of practice, they could try out some of the activities with your students, reflect on how they went, and discuss them and how they promote language acquisition. So let's look at more resources that you can use with your students face-to-face, online, and in your professional development groups. And Cindy goes first with an American English resource. Cindy?
Hi, everyone. I love to play games in my classroom because it allows students to learn in creative, interactive ways, and sometimes they don't even realize they're learning. The American English website has lots of games that are a great way for students to have fun while practicing language skills and social skills, such as turn taking, providing encouragement to each other, and being a good sport. Here are 2 of many board games available in the resources. The game on the left practices past participle with the question, have you ever? And the game on the right practices the modal verb, would, in the question, would you rather? Both games allow kids to share about themselves while reviewing or learning new vocabulary and practicing reading and listening skills. But how can we do this in an online environment? Well, it is possible. You can project a board game image during a Zoom session and break students into 2 teams. This means you have only 2 markers to move on the board. But everybody gets a turn answering for their team. You can use the stamp annotation tool in Zoom to keep track of where each team is on the board. You can even download a dice rolling app, or you could just roll the dice for each team. But is this professional development for us as teachers? Yes. Every game comes with clear instructions for how to use the activity effectively. On the next slide, you'll see there's ideas like modeling and scaffolding, which should be part of every class, and they're provided for each kind of game. And ideas for how to build on students' responses to gain the most grammar and vocabulary benefits. The teacher's role is discussed for before, during, and after play. So read these ideas to improve your teaching, even beyond using these activities. It's just great teaching methodology. So American English also has a blank game board template, as you can see here. And this allows you to create games using your current content. So let's get your help right now creating this game board. Our topic is irregular verbs. Students need to take the irregular verb that we're going to add in each square, and they have to use it in a past tense sentence. So which verbs do you think are the most important for students to know? Can you write an irregular verb right now in the comments, and we can include it in this game? You can do this same task with your students. Get them to help build the game board. So what other content could you use in a game board? Share those ideas as well in the comments. And one more thing, American English also has wonderful picture cards. So they come in 24 different categories, from weather and vegetables to jobs and feelings, and they're all easily shared in an online class. So each category card comes with questions, and there are even more activities for each set of picture cards, all again provided with clear instructions. So, as this example, there are explanations for preparing students for before the activity, supporting learning during the activity, and reflecting on the learning after the activity. So in this next slide, these are all excellent ideas to help us grow as teachers in our own professional development. So be creative, take advantage of it. And now, Wendy, back to you.
Well, thank you, Cindy, but I'm going to turn it right back to Jose Manuel's favorite songs.
Thank you, Wendy. Well, I really like songs a lot. First of all, because they are very memorable, and they usually liven up our classes a lot. Students love songs. They can sing them over and over and over without getting ever tired. And songs can also provide us with ready grammar references. Like you think, should you say this? Or, oh, I remember this song. And there's your grammar reference. And obviously, because you try to sing them over and over, you're practicing pronunciation constantly. In this particular case, I like these song collections, of which we have 3. Sing Out Loud, they are called. And as you can see, we have children's songs, traditional songs, and a newer title, which is called American Rhythms. All of them are available online, and they are downloadable to mobile resources. So you can have them on your smartphone, on your tablet, and you can connect them to a Bluetooth speaker. And with that, you have something to do in your class if you have a few minutes to spare. Also downloadable with these titles are the lyrics, classroom activities, and in the case of children's songs and traditional songs, we also have mini posters, which I will mention in the next slide. Finally, for American Rhythms, which is a newer title, you can also download, obviously, the lyrics, but in this case, we have reproducible lesson plans and handouts that you can modify to your heart's content because they are open educational resources. Everything that we have on this site is. That means that you can share it, you can modify it. All we ask is that you cite the original source, which is American English at state.gov. Now, on the next slide, you will be able to see the mini posters. They are double-sided, and they are full colored. They come as PDFs, so that means that you can edit them. How do you do this? When you open your PDF, on the menu, you will go to Edit, and then from that menu, you select Take a Snapshot, and you select the part of the image that you want to take. And with this, you can create your own handouts, your own worksheets. And if you are working online, for instance, You can create virtual handouts or worksheets using Google Forms or Padlet or Powtoon or one of the great resources that you have been speaking about during this series. If you want to use them face-to-face and you want to make a little bit more of an investment, you can go to Hyperlumen or Office Max, what have you, have them printed in doble oficio, laminate them with contact paper, and they will last you a lifetime. And how to use this with professional development? As I mentioned, these come with ideas and lesson plans. So you can start with these ones. You can also share them with colleagues. You can take your own journal, see what you did that worked well, reflect upon this, and then start looking up more ideas online for before, during, and after. You can develop your own ideas for grammar, and mostly, I would say, collaborate with others. That's the greatest thing about this profession. If we share, we're invincible. Back to you.
Fabulous, Jose Manuel. I love to sing in my professional development sessions. I don't know about you, so I often start them with these songs. Okay, so to my favorite resource are the American English live webinars. Now, these are free, high-quality professional development opportunities for you and your colleagues. They are 3 times a year, a series of 6 webinars. So they are all 1 hour long, and they're broadcast live on Facebook twice at 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern time. So there, as you can see on the screen, there was one yesterday on adaptable speaking activities for pairs and groups. And the next one, and I couldn't find the advertisement, it'll come out next. So it'll be the last one in the current series, is on Wednesday, July 15th, and it's called Classmates as Language Learning Allies, Activities to Encourage Student-to-Student Interaction. Sounds good, doesn't it? So the advantage of attending the live webinars is that you can connect with English teachers all over the world, ask questions to an English language specialist, and receive a digital badge for your efforts, which counts in many places as professional development credit. However, if you are not able to attend live, you can still access the recording via the American English YouTube channel and their website, which is on the next slide. So you can find out right here on this website, AmericanEnglishWebinars.com. So this is a closed group. So as you can see here in number 1, the first arrow, you will first have to join by click here to join, and then create a new account by filling out the boxes here and then answering a question. I just wanted you to see what it looks like because a lot of people don't know about this resource. And on the next slide, here's a screenshot from the website. You will not only receive updates of the upcoming webinars and events, you also have access to the pre-webinar readings and discussion boards that accompany each webinar. Now, this really makes each webinar a complete professional development session. And the webinar recordings and PowerPoint slides are here, and they're available after the live event. So it's a really great community of practice. Here's another screenshot. And there are so many sessions here to choose from according to your school needs. So we did a quick search for games, and it yielded 10 different webinars complete with the readings that I just mentioned. Isn't that great? So here on the next slide are the general topics of the webinars. There's really something for everyone here. We have the 4 skills, culture, games, methodology, grammar, and a very important concept, which is global citizenship that Cindy talked about during our webinar on middle and high school online teaching. You can also search for webinars on young learners or other age groups as well. You'll find many resources. Now let's look at how we can use American English live webinars for professional development. Okay, so Here's my easy 5 steps to conduct free, high quality professional development. So number 1, you can form a viewing group or a teacher's club and either assign a facilitator or rotate facilitators for each session. You can create a special page or group on Facebook just for this purpose. So if you want to participate in the live webinar series held 3 times a year, you could meet every other week. They are on Wednesdays during the series. So number 2, obviously you will watch it. You can participate live or watch the recording afterwards with your group. As I mentioned, the advantage of participating live is you have the international exchange, and it's really very exciting. I have participated. And you can also get that important digital badge. However, if your internet is not good or you're not available during that time, you could watch it later, and that has the advantage of pausing the video, discussing various points during it, or doing some reflection activities, and you can do this on Zoom with your group. Okay? So number 3, so however you organize it, do be sure to follow up with discussion, a review of the key points discussed, and a plan to apply what you learned and report back during the next meeting. So it's a very simple thing. So Jose Manuel will tell you a secret how you can earn a professional development certificate by forming a local viewing group. Take it away.
Thank you, Wendy. Actually, it's not a secret, but it's good to always put a plug for this and promote it. If you would like to form your own little viewing group for the webinars, what you have to do is gather at least 3 people and choose a coordinator for this little group. The coordinator should send an email to rilomexico@state.gov indicating that you want to register yourselves, and we will send you instructions on what to do. We will also give you instructions to run the sessions. Don't worry, we'll back you up. At the end of the series, the coordinator must send us the list, and within 2 weeks, you will receive your certificates for those members who attended at least 4 of the 6 sessions within a series.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so this is really important to get your professional credit that a lot of you have been asking for. Okay, so there are 2 more important resources related to American English on Facebook. So on this screen, you can see the first is American English for Educators, which serves as a resource center for teaching American English language and culture. On this page, you'll find updated information on the live webinar series as well, webinar playlists like you see in this image, and lots of teaching tips. What I really like about this page is that it also highlights materials from americanenglish.state.gov that are related to current trends and topics. Have you liked it already on Facebook? Give us a thumbs up if you have, or if not, do it now. All right, so let's look at one of my favorite, the second one. The second is American English Facebook, and it's called American English at State. So this is also for educators, but for students as well. And it focuses more on the language, as you can see here. And I love posts like this one that draw your attention to grammar points and special expressions, where you can test out the language by responding in the discussion under the post. So with over 3 million followers, you really feel a part of an international community. So let's try one. Okay, so it's an interactive feature, so get ready in the chat. So this image is a recent post on the American English at State Facebook page. So first of all, I want you to write the number of the sentences that are correct in the chat. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which ones are correct? Be sure to look at the chat and read the responses of your fellow participants to check your answers. Let me give you a hint. 2 of them are correct. Which ones? All right. While you're doing that, I want you, let's write number 1, and I want you to correct the word for number 1. There is a confused word, and let's change it. Do you know it? I'll give you the answers in the next slide, but okay? Compare your answers with your colleagues. What about number 3? Do you know which one? What's the correct word? Great. And the last one that has an incorrect word is, right? Number 4. Super. Let's check your answers. I know you know it. Okay, so there are opportunities like this. These are the correct answers on the next slide for you and your students to interact every day. As you can see, you can also share them to a learning page on Facebook or otherwise for an easy review and a discussion point. So good job, teachers. Would you like to learn more about free opportunities to learn English for specific purposes, or ESP? Well, Heather has the perfect resource for you from AmericanEnglish.state.gov. Take it away, Heather.
Thank you, Wendy. So what I'm going to talk about are the MOOCs, or massive open online courses. So what I really like about the MOOCs that are available through the state.gov is that they have them for specific purposes. So sometimes as teachers, we have students who are interested in very specific fields like journalism, or often business English. We teach business English to university students, or if we work with companies, we have to teach business English. So if you're a teacher who's looking to get into teaching English for specific purposes, I think these can be some really great resources. So this example here is English for Journalism, and it's open from April 20th to October 19th. So the enrollment is ongoing, and there is a deadline to finish the work. So you are pushed to continue and finish and get that professional development, but it is at your own pace. So here is all of the current ones, or some of the current ones that are being offered. So English for Journalism, English for Media Literacy. So if you remember when I talked about digital citizenship, media literacy is a big part of that. So as teachers, we need to know how to recognize fake news so that we can then help teach our students to do it. And then English for STEM field. So that's science, technology, engineering, and math. So more and more, we are needing our students to speak the language of science. And so it's good for us to speak that language, because sometimes as English teachers, we've kind of pushed those parts out of our lives. And then, as I said, we have English for business and entrepreneurship. So if you're teaching university students who need to have some sort of business English, or if you're teaching adults, this can be a really good way for you to make sure that you're comfortable with this type of English. And then finally, English for career development. You can use this in 2 ways. So a lot of times as English teachers, we've come to this profession maybe in a indirect way, and we never thought about how do we make a resume or a CV for teaching English. How do we do job interviews? And so this can help you get that knowledge for your own career development. And also if you're working with students who are looking to get a job, who are in university or adults, you can use that knowledge to help teach them as well. So these massive open online courses, they help all different levels of learners, so pre-intermediate, intermediate, and advanced learners, improve their English skills. And as I said, each one is self-paced, and it lasts about 5 weeks long. Okay, so here is another example of a course that has recently become available. And so this is for English, for educational technology in the English language classroom. So if there's a tool or something that we talked about that you really want to get and dig into, you can take this course to help you practice those skills and consolidate that learning. So this self-paced course, it usually requires 2 to 3 hours of work over 5 weeks. And there's an interactive component, so you're not there all alone. And another really good thing about these courses is that you can earn digital certificates or badges so that you can show that you've actually engaged in professional development. So a digital badge is just like, before we had our physical certificates. Now this is a digital certificate, and they have different colors to show different skills. So you might have seen them, little kind of shields sometimes that show different skills. So you can use them to kind of help show what skills you have acquired online. Okay. And so here's another example um, of a MOOC that is ongoing, and this is integrating critical thinking skills into the exploration of culture. So kind of bringing together two heavy topics, but an interesting exploration. And so this is ongoing, and all coursework must be completed by the near the end of August. So again, you can go ahead and get started. Maybe you have a little time now that you're on summer vacation, maybe not. And you can use that time to get in some professional development. And again, about 2 to 3 hours per week for 5 weeks. And this is linked to global competency and digital citizenship. So really important topics, especially as we go into a time where we're going to be teaching students online. So we need to think about how do we make them good citizens online, how, to respect others and to use resources appropriately. So I'm going to go back to you, Wendy. So here we go.
Wonderful. So if you would like to find out about more of these, Heather was saying that she finds out a lot about these by being on the Relo Mexico email list. So all you need to do is send an email with your full name, city, and state. You will be on this magic email list and you will know everything that's going on for your professional development. So please take a screenshot. Don't forget this. It is a great resource here in Mexico. So jumping off on what Heather said, we're going to talk about what is a MOOC camp. Now, a lot of people do MOOC camps in the summer. It's a great professional development idea. So it's a weekly facilitated study group on a specific subject relevant to your professional development. Obviously, you've seen what Heather told. So on those, you pick a topic of an interest to a group and you study weekly. So, and it's very guided. So you don't feel alone. I think we're feeling alone these days. So if you can create this camp, which is really just a study group, you might feel supported and more likely to complete it. So if these are a bit more intense, but they are shorter term and you'll have a great sense of accomplishment. All right. So before we look at how Facebook watch parties can enhance planned or scheduled remote professional development, I would like to show you one last American English resource that you can use, and it is the journal English Teaching Forum. It's the third tab that you guessed in the treasure hunt on americanenglish.state.gov. Let's take a closer look. So here's what it looks like on the website. And just like the webinars, you can use the search function to find just about any topic imaginable. As you can see, it's been around for 50 years, I think. So the publication of the forum is on hold currently due to the pandemic. However, it is normally published quarterly. And you can read it online, and it is also available in print. Okay. Now let's look at the features in the forum. The articles, the first bullet point, provide practical ideas for teaching English based on current theory. I'll get to the reader's guide in a moment. Teaching techniques share successful classroom practices. My classroom focuses on one teacher's classroom and the way her or his environment shapes learning. The second issue in 2018 features a Mexican teacher written by a former English language fellow. So check that one out. Try This gives step-by-step instructions on a particular activity. And the lighter side, as you might guess, is an English language-based puzzle. And on the inside cover, you'll find ideas for turning the forum articles into professional development activities. And let's get to the reader's guide now. Here's what this looks like. You can use the reader's guide in each issue of the forum to guide your individual or group study. So as it says here, if you can see it in the introduction, what teachers often do is choose an article for their group to read before their meeting or their class. They discuss that article when they meet. Then teachers take notes on articles or write responses to them to share when they come together in the discussion group. Another idea is for teachers to try a selected activity such as the try this or the technique described in one of the articles and report back to the group on their experiences. So what do you think? Thumbs up? So now what you've been waiting for, how to take all of these great resources online for ongoing professional development in a Facebook watch party. Of course, we're doing it live, and that's one way to watch it. I don't know if you were able to do that, and perhaps you are. But you can, right now, you can switch between the comments on your page or those from Rilo, Mexico. So it's quite exciting. So maybe people will drop in that you wouldn't have expected. So after this watch party, maybe you can find out which friends watched it. You can get together with your study group or community of practice members and follow up and discuss. Could be on Zoom later after the watch party. However, we're thinking it might be more practical to plan a watch party, and here's how. You've seen this slide before. So what I would do is create a page, a Facebook page, a separate page, or a professional study group that you alert to interested people. So not everybody's interested in online teaching and with your friends, but you do have professionals there who you can invite. So an additional advantage to creating a separate Facebook page is that you can post articles from the forum, share posts from American English for Educators, and keep everything in one place in the group. So to host a watch party from your new page, and as Ruth has been telling us during the past 11 sessions, you just simply start a post like you were going to say something, and when the box pops up, you click on the 3 dots at the bottom right for more options. Okay, you select watch party and you choose one of our videos or another one of perhaps from American English live webinars, and you publish it. So your colleagues will receive notifications to view the recording with you, and you will be able to make comments in real time, okay, while you're watching it together. Okay, now this is how you do it. And of course you can also show the videos later on Zoom by sharing your screen and have the added advantage of holding a live discussion at the same time. So whichever way you do it, just those videos are available and ready for you. Okay, so here's another simple 4 steps here. So I wonder, could you give me a thumbs up if you have a separate professional development page on Facebook? I know I have several. Even if there's just a few of you, it's a great idea. So you can hide the group or not. So you keep, like I said, you keep everything really nicely organized. So obviously you hold the watch party, and you can schedule them here on this page. And one advantage is of not holding the live parties, as you can pause for comments in the chat. So on the page, you can share information for your next session. And as I said, post articles to read before you meet, start a discussion thread on the topic of the month or the series, and share other relevant information. Okay, so here's your 4 easy steps. And I just wanted to remind you of the main resources we shared with you today on the next slide, so you can continue your professional development. Okay, and we hope you got some great ideas from us and have shared your favorites. Okay, you might want to take a screenshot. I'll hand it over to you, Ruth.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Wendy. And thank you, all of our participants. We've loved spending these weeks with you. We're genuinely sad that the series is ending, but we'll be back in the future with more support. So keep checking in at the Rilo Mexico page on Facebook. Until then, stay home, stay safe. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.